Well, what does the future hold for AI in the creative world? Right now, it may not necessarily be clear, but there's a showcase coming up that is shedding a new light on this relationship and possibly showing how they can coexist.
They can coexist, you say? Well, yes, it's called Mixed, coming to Portland's Tomorrow Theater next week. Garrett Stinson is the founder and head of strategy at DB Clay, a creative research lab and consultancy in Portland. He joins us to talk about Mixed. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
thanks for being
interesting
here.
topic here.
Exactly. Tell us about this get-together and the conversation you're hoping to have.
Yeah, there's this little thing called AI that seems to be all the buzz these days. So I'm putting together this concept for Mix, which really is a film showcase, and it's first of its kind in the sense that I'm really kind of trying to bridge the gap between these two worlds. Right, on one end of the spectrum, we have the traditional world of cinema and the cinematic craft, and we have generative AI. And really, this is obviously a hot topic these days. Everyone's talking about the future of film and the future of creativity and what it all means. And so really wanted to kind of explore that messy middle between the two.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we've heard a lot of the conversation coming out of Hollywood has been drawing a big red line in the
really
sand.
anti-AI.
You know, these were huge topics of conversation during the strikes we saw a couple years ago. Is there a way that we can have a more nuanced approach to AI in the creative world?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's the hype and the headlines right around the death of Hollywood and the death of creative agencies and things. But, you know, in the last several years, I've had hundreds of conversations with traditional filmmakers, film directors, AI artists. And really, why I describe it as the messy middle is because there's like these mixed feelings about it all, right? There's a lot of hype, there's a lot of promise, and really trying to unpack this layered and complex topic of the future of creativity, right? And so I kind of am excited by this idea of, you know, it's breaking down traditional barriers to entry. You know, not every filmmaker or storyteller has, you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars to tell their story or make a film. And
we don't all have James Cameron Avatar budgets, you know? Yeah.
And I believe it's not really a zero-sum game in the sense that, you know, there's certainly an opportunity to make a James Cameron film for $1 billion, and there's also storytellers around the world that just have a laptop and an internet connection and want to tell their story.
So how do you tackle this conversation of what you call the messy middle, which I think is really, it makes a lot of sense to call it that. But when you have, you know, the argument of, hey, don't take our creative jobs, actors, you know, they get paid versus, you know, maybe voice actors too. I know a lot of concern about AI entering the voice actor world versus the, hey, you are knocking down barriers to entry. It is going to be more affordable for people like us to start being creative. Where do you stand on that? Where does Mixed stand on that?
Yeah, really trying to take a position of neutrality. And really, I describe Mixed. Yes, we're going to have a film showcase next week, but really kind of having it be a platform for conversation and really not trying to take a hard stance one way or the other, right? Because I believe that, you know, the future is mixed. The future is hybrid, right? There's a lot of magic to be had with traditional filmmaking technique and the power of story and the human-led approach. But then these generative tools, it's like the art of the possible. You can literally create anything. You can create things that never existed before. And so really navigating that messy middle, I'm trying to bring together different groups from like nonprofits and business leaders and agency leaders, talking to a lot of department heads at colleges and universities, and really trying to get a kind of a wide spectrum of perspectives on the topic.
Yeah.
It's an interesting conversation to have.
Very.
And one that I haven't seen as much in a lot of creative spaces. I've seen a lot of festivals say, you know, you can only enter something if it contains no AI, right? It's almost been a barrier for this kind of stuff. So I'm assuming that is one difference. How else is Mixed a little different from other traditional film festivals?
Yeah, we're here in Portland, right? We wanted to do it a little bit differently. And I don't come from a traditional filmmaking background. Yes, I had a traditional film company that I ran for about 5 or 6 years. But really, you know, Portland's approach to this is very different in the sense that you know, we wanted to get both people in Portland on a stage having this conversation, but quickly when I was kind of digging into this topic, I realized this is actually a global conversation. And what is Portland's unique approach to having a showcase like this? And so we're going to have live human performances at the event. We're going to have a curated showcase of films from all over the world, and we're going to have a panel discussion that really gets to the heart of the matter.
What is the ultimate takeaway you want somebody to have?
Yeah, I think, you know, in general, I think if I had to apply kind of 3 thoughts to it, we want to inspire, educate, and empower. You know, on the inspiration piece, just really demonstrating like the art of possible, like what is possible with these new tools and this new kind of paradigm that we're entering into. Education is a huge component because there's a lot of fear and anxiety that's based on, I don't actually know where to start. I don't know what these tools are. I don't know what's real anymore. And so really want to kind of educate and kind of dispel and demystify this topic of AI and AI film. And lastly, kind of empower. I think once people have that source of inspiration and the education, they can now navigate this new world with confidence.
Sure. Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it'll be a fun conversation to have, and getting into that messy middle there.
Explore the
Garrett.
messy middle.
We appreciate you diving in with us this morning. Thanks for being here.
You bet. Thanks
Yeah,
so much.
great to talk to you.
Yep.
And you can check out Mixed. It's happening Wednesday, February 4th from 7 to 9 p.m. at Pam Cut's Tomorrow Theater. Tickets are $15. Get more